Welcome to my 8th Bible review. In this Bible review, I'm going to review a Bible that you've seen on screen a few times, but I've never really given it a good review, and that is my single column journaling Bible. I can see your face. Okay guys, so here's my single column, my ESV single column journaling Bible. I've kind of given you guys a little bit of a rundown of the system that I use while I'm journaling in this Bible, because I'm not really journaling, I'm taking notes. This is the way it comes. You can see it's a sewn binding here. I bought the hardcover edition, partially just because I'm not sitting here going, okay, I need this to last forever. It's just I need this to start my study in, and then since I was going to be kind of figuring things out, I wanted just kind of a cheaper option to start with, to make sure that if, you know what, I change my mind, I can mark in this without spending the $200 or so on a wide margin and then regretting the fact that, oh, I changed my system, as I've seen other people have had those regrets when they are marking. And so I'm going to be back in just a moment. You can see I bought the one that's kind of like a moleskin, because I just kind of like that. I like the enclosure. If I were to do it again, I'd probably buy this one again, possibly the one that has the flap that goes over the top, because I kind of like that too. I think it would protect the pages just a little bit more, as well as adding a pen holder in there would be kind of nice. But I'll be back, because I can't really get this off one-handed, so I'll be right back. Hey guys, so this is the hardcover. So one of the things that you're going to notice right off the bat is just that right there. The ESV journaling Bibles, because they're kind of laid out like a journal, where they are trying to make it appear more like a journal. They don't have a normal presentation page, but they have this Bible belongs to page, which looks much more like a journal. If I get this is my actual journal that I write in here. We have this journal belongs to, and then I added the date there. And so, I mean, that's much more like a journal in that respect, that we have that being laid out there, instead of it being, you know, a presentation page. You know, this Bible was given to this person on this date, and then room for a quote or something. But I mean, there's enough lines here that if you wanted to do that, given to May the 4th on this date by Amanda May, and then a verse if you wanted to, guys, if you're going to give these as a gift. One thing that you're going to notice is right off the bat, just opens straight out, because it's a hardcover. There's no hinge to try and break in. There is the second thing that you're going to notice. You can see right here, that's my journaling system right there, and you can see it through the page. So you're going to notice that there is ghosting on this Bible. The font size is a 7-point font according to one source, and then ESV Crossways came out and said, well, it's a 7.5 font, and so, I mean, it really depends on who you're talking to on what it is. But you can see here, you can see the text block right there, that black rectangle, and you can see that through the pages. You can see it on both sides. It is line matched, which means when I'm looking here, I don't see it, I don't notice it, but otherwise you have this gray block, which is where the text of the Bible is, with the lines down the side, and that's that way pretty much through the whole Bible. They use the lexicon font on here again. I think that is Crossway's favorite single column font, is the lexicon font. They used it in the ESV study Bible. They used it in the ESV single column heritage Bible, which is now the single column personal Bible, and now they're using it in the single column journaling Bible. If you guys know, please leave in the comments down below if they're using it in their 2-column Bibles. I know that Cambridge used it in their 2-column Pit Minion, but I don't know if Crossways is using it in their 2-column ESVs. In their waterproof Bible, which is the last review I did, you'll notice that they didn't use that font. But that, I don't know if that's Barden and Marcy, or if that was a choice on Crossways, because I know that Barton and Marcy did license that. And so in this we have the same thing that you've seen in my single column Heritage Bible. It is a different pagination because the margins, the size of the column is slightly different. You can see this straight edge down this side and straight edge up that side for all of the paragraph stuff, but you do have your text titles, your chapter numbers, and in here we also have our verse numbers, and down at the bottom of the page we have all of the textual footnotes from the translators. At the top of the page you have the Genesis 5:27, which is the last verse number presented on this page. That's how Crossways does it, 5:27 right there. And so so you get a full range. So on these 2-page spreads we have 3:17, which is the first verse number, through 5:27, which is the last verse number. So this is, you can see the paragraph format here. It's rather, I'll admit, it's rather small at 7.5, but the purpose is not necessarily to be a reader. The purpose is to be a studier and a journaling Bible, and we'll get into that in a moment. So here's Job. So here's what the poetics look like. So we just saw paragraphed. Here's poetics, and you can see it's mostly the same format as we've seen before in the poetics. When you look at the Psalms or something, you still have the text titles and the drop caps for the chapter numbers. You can see this line of verse numbers that is going down the side. Still have the textual footnotes. The page number is over here, and this is something I didn't get into on the paragraph page, but it's the same way. Paragraph paged. This page number is over here underneath the line pages, and these lines are actually like dots. If I get in here close, see that the lines are dots, so they're not really dark lines, but they're just kind of gray. They're almost, these lines are as dark as the ghosting on the page. If I zoom back a little bit here, you see that they're as dark as the ghosting is there, which gives great guidelines for when you're writing, but it makes it where they don't stand out too much if you're just wanting to read a little bit as well. Again, this isn't set up to be a reader because of the smaller print. It is set up to be a study Bible. Okay, so last page of Job, we have some paragraphs, but I just want you to see this. So that's purple. So that was me writing in purple. You cannot see the highlighter through this, so there's some yellow highlighter going on here as well, but that's purple writing. I'll tell you when we get into a later on passage that it's not really as bad here. It's not any worse than this ghosting is right there. And again, if you write on the lines, your writing's going to be line matched, kinda. But now you can see the yellow highlighter on this side. So I just want to, no yellow highlighter. And so that comes from my system. The purple is a thought. The yellow is a thought that I have regarding that. So this is what it's made for. It's made for this kind of study mentality that you're going to be writing notes, journaling in such a way. If you actually want a journaling Bible where you're going to journal about the text that you're reading, Crossways does make what they call an interleaved journaling Bible, which is where this page would be all lines, and it'd be all lines, so you could read and write about what you're reading, and so and then all lines and text, if I remember right, that they do just a lined page with a text page on either side of it. Okay. They also make a writer's edition, which I found really weird, but it had 2 inches of margin underneath here that you could write on. And then there's also a 2-column. I went with the single column, not because I read better, like we've talked about that I read from the single column better, but I went with the single column because of this. The ability here to reference this column with this column. Whereas if I was going to run for a second column here, I'd have to write through, and yes, there'd be more words on the page, but there'd also be less room for me to take notes, is kind of the idea. So it looks like here from the ghosting, it looks like the lines go all the way up, but you can tell that's blurry. That's not just my camera. When I pick this up, you can see it. The lines don't. So let's jump to the New Testament, because that's where I've done my journaling so far. We're gonna jump into Romans. So you've seen some of this journaling if you've been on the channel. I believe episode 3, I talked about my journaling system and what I'm doing with it. And so here, so we can see we have notes on this page. Flip to this page, that you can see that's a yellow highlighter. I don't know if you can see that on the screen. This is a red highlighter. Orange, that's an orange highlighter, and that's an orange highlighter. So you can see the orange highlighters, but you actually can't see the yellow. I was really amazed at that you couldn't see the yellow through. You can see the notes though, and the orange you cannot see any worse. The orange is actually harder to read than the purple is, and that's probably the dark color versus the light color. But then we get into some red and pinks over here, and just, you know, that the red doesn't stand out all that much. The orange doesn't stand out all that much, but there's a black. Okay, but here, see, I wrote over the top of it, and the black doesn't shine through that to ruin my orange note here. And so I just want to applaud them a little bit on their paper, that even though it feels like it's going to just ghost terribly, it actually doesn't. And I'll get out, you've seen the pens that I've used before, but what I'm using is these Sharpie art pens, which are really nice pens as far as journaling, and then the Sharpie highlighters. So I'm just going to get out 2 so you can see them here. And because I'm OCD, they're going to be the same color. So the Sharpie art pens and the Sharpie highlighters are what I'm using here. And that's blue, and you can see up here, you can see this blue right here. You see it's not bleeding. It has some ghost through, but it is not bleeding. And that's kind of the important thing for me, that I'm not bleeding through. And so even here, you see some ghost through. But here I did orange. I actually highlighted with orange underneath right here, for the orange note that's under there. And even so, see, I highlighted it. Even so, we're not getting any bleed through, which is really important for me. Bleed through is going to drive me crazy. Okay, and so yeah, that's just kind of what I'm here to show you guys, is that they actually made a really good product when they did this. You can see that there's some black under there, and as I got farther and farther through Romans, I had to take more and more notes. I don't know if that was just because I got comfortable taking the notes or what. So 3, 2, 4, 3, a bunch. Still some room. A bunch. So I mean, as I went through, I just was taking note after note after note after note, and I couldn't and I mean, there's just so much information in Romans. Just it's a great book. And then it started to ebb off. The next one that I'm doing is actually Ephesians, and so here we can see that I'm started the same process, and it's bleeding through just as bad. It's ghosting through just as badly, but it's not bleeding. Still not bleeding, which is super important. So if you're going to get this Bible, I would definitely suggest getting these pens. I know that the microns, they're a little bit narrower nib, so you can write a little bit easier. I didn't go with that for this time around, and I've heard that their ink is about the same as the Sharpie. As far as bleeding through, it doesn't. You'll get some ghosting with the darker colors. But yeah, so this is my journaling Bible. I bought it just for this reason, which is part of why, and you can see that it's laying flat. It's laying flat here. It's part of why I wanted it, was to be able to start journaling in it, because that was kind of important to me, to start taking some notes and just kind of starting to do that. I would it's highly specialized as far as usefulness is concerned. I would say it's a highly specialized Bible that if you're looking to take notes, then this is a great, I think it's one of the best systems out there. And I know that some other publishers are coming out with similar stuff where they're going, okay, Crossways is kind of leading the charge in a lot of this stuff, guys. Crossways goes, oh, I'm going to put this out, and then every other Bible publisher goes, oh, they made money with that. Oh, maybe we should do the same thing. But the ghosting isn't all that bad. It's kind of I would say a medium ghosting. I couldn't find the thickness of paper on this, but I would say it's useful but specialized. That if you're going to be wanting to take notes, I would even suggest this over top of the wide margins, because it has this easy reference point back and forth, as well as because of being a single, you can do your word studies that some people like to do in this, because you have this one single column, and so you don't have to bounce back and forth between multiple columns. But so yes, it's useful, but it's kind of specialized in that the wide line margins are awesome, especially since the lines are so faint. It's not super heavy duty lines. At the end of the book, they continue giving you lines all the way down the page, even if they don't at the beginning of the book. And so then table weights and measures at the end, and this you can really see the ghosting in this one. But and then finally they have a reading plan. Through the Bible in a year reading plan at the tail end of this. And this is Crossway's, this is the third reading plan I've seen from them. They have one at readersbible.com, I believe is their website for that, where they do their Reader's Bible stuff for their 6-volume set. But then they have one in the back of the ESV Study Bible, as well, which you would expect that, because I mean the Study Bible is it's meant to be a study resource, so to having a reader's plan in the back here would kind of make a whole lot of sense. So they have a daily Bible reading plan here in the back of this one as well. And this one is different from the ones in the journaling Bible. I will make note of that, okay? That is different than the journaling Bible one. Just so you're aware. So this is the third daily reading plan that I've seen from Crossway. But yeah, so they have a reading plan. You can see there's only 3 sections here, versus in the Study Bible there was 4 sections in that. The text is rather small, but it is readable. But again, I don't think that they were set out to make a reading Bible in this one. They've done reading Bibles before. There is line matching, there is ghosting, though it's not all that bad. It's just that weird gray on the cream is just that gray text block right there. Is just kind of it's a weird thing to have that gray on the text block there. Very useful, though, like I said before, specialized. The reading plan in the back is nice, and just a great all-around product from Crossways. I actually haven't bought a product from Crossways, whether it be hardcover, true tone, leather. I haven't bought a product from Crossways that I've been disappointed in, I will admit right now. I bought some ESVs from some other places. I was like, you know what? I would rather have that in a slightly different style, but not from Crossways. Okay, so that's my ESV journaling Bible, my single column journaling Bible. It is one that I am using right now very heavily. I just finished Romans and I'm actually moving into Ephesians right now. I've decided to do a study kind of through the Psalms with it as well, as you can see, and that's just kind of where I'm going with it. We're thinking, Believe It or Ministries is thinking about doing something down the road where we put kind of something out for people to get involved, get a journaling Bible, get involved with journaling with us as well. And so that's a thought that we have for the future. But for right now, that's the ESV journaling Bible. I would highly suggest that if you're someone who marks in your Bible or wants to take notes, even if you just want to take notes in the Bible, the ESV journaling Bible it's easy to get into, because you can get this I got this hardcover for $20 on Amazon. And so it's an easy to step into. It's not like you're going to be spending $200 on a wide margin from somewhere else. Yeah, so that's my honest take on it, that I would suggest getting an ESV journaling Bible if you're someone that wants to take notes. Even if you just want to try it out, you're not spending a whole lot of money, and you've got a note-taking platform right there ready for you to do it. So definitely, for as I said before, it is specialized. If you don't want to, if you're not looking for something to take notes in, like for a long time I didn't want to buy a journaling Bible because I wasn't a note taker in my Bible. I started highlighting, and then I started kind of wanting to take notes, and then I inherited my grandfather's Bible, and that really is what spurred me on to start taking notes. So yeah, just if that's something that you're looking for, I would suggest going with this platform, because it's cheaper, it's easier to get into, but you can get a more expensive version of it too later on down the road if it's something that you really like and really want to have something like that. Other than that, guys, I hope that you like this video, and you'll go down below and hit the like and subscribe button, and I pray that we're helping you to believe in something better.